Welcome to season 3 of Perfect the Craft. Hung Brother Sensei is going to go over 6 ways to break an arm and snap an arm off. I got my arm snapped off by my brother. You can see it in the bloopers. It looks like this. YouTube audience, what's up? Andy Hung from Dojo Outfitters. Welcome to another episode of Perfect the Craft. I'm here today with
Mustache Lou.
Okay, we're here at the beautiful Portland Judo. We're going to give you a special double header today. Hung Brother Sensei is going to go over 6 ways to break an arm and snap an arm off. I got my arm snapped off by my brother. You can see it in the bloopers. It looks like this, okay? So grip break number 1. Okay, let's just say we're meeting this gable grip here. I challenge all of you to try and get a limb advantage when you're finishing your juji gatame. Meaning, I don't want to have 2 of my arms to try and pull out one of his. Okay? An easy way to accomplish this is by grabbing a collar. Now I have a limb advantage, right? I have a one whole limb that I could do whatever I want to do. Okay? You could even untie his belt if you want to. Okay? Hey! Okay, but look, if it's this arm too, right? I could still use my limb to attack a wrist or hand or gi, whatever you want. So try and find a limb advantage when you're here. We want to actually attack the far limb first, okay? I'm going to grab a sleeve. I'm going to pull it close to me, tight to me here. I'm going to choke my feet higher on that limb. So say we're looking at this, okay? What I like to do is we're going to grab this sleeve, right? It's illegal to grab inside the sleeve in judo, so we're going to be sure we grab the outside, okay? I'm going to pull this to me, and now watch what I do with my feet. I'm going to climb my feet higher on his tricep, okay? If you can, you could even close like a sankaku here. And then what that does, it makes his defense a lot more weak, much weaker here, okay? So I'm just going to, if you already have your feet crossed, we just want to cross it up higher on this far limb, okay? And I guarantee you, if you're the uke, you're going to feel the difference in your defense, okay? Okay? What that's going to do is weaken his defense. Now look, I could use my body here, right? I'm attached to this. I'm going to pop my body back. I'm going to look to shave the arm that I want. What I mean by shaving is I'm going to like attach my wrist to his wrist, and look how I scrape and shave that arm away, right? And you see how that grip starts to break? We put a little bit of pop in there, and now it's coming up, right? In that transition, I'm going to let this sleeve go and reach for that thumb. I'm going to turn his thumb to the ceiling. I slide my bottom hand up to the wrist and get the tap there. So we're confronted with another grip to break here, okay? Again, we have a limb advantage. I could grab my collar, okay? I could also grab the top of my thigh here, right on my IT band. We just want this chain to be completed here. We don't want to have this hand just barely through. Send it all the way through. Grab the top of your leg. Now I have a free limb again, okay? From this perspective, you can see that this elbow is actually very easy to have leverage on, okay? I'm gonna look, I call this like the Heisman, it's like a stiff arm, okay? I'm gonna look to stiff arm and pop this elbow off. When this elbow gets popped off, this arm's gonna fly out, okay? So here I am, I have my limb advantage, I'm looking at this elbow, I'm gonna pop it and use my body to explode this limb back. Right? And look how I turned the pop into a catch. Okay? One more time. I'll go slow on this one, okay? And obviously we're just showing the technique, so imagine. I pop this limb off. In that transition, I want to almost like rear naked choke that wrist. So I don't take my hand back out just to try and pull it back in. From that Heisman stiff arm pop, if I could scrape and catch that wrist with my bicep ditch, I will. Now watch, I'm going to slide everything up to the wrist. End of the lever. Tight knees, we finish the arm bar. So here we are in juji gatame, ready to finish. Okay, you're going to encounter a lot of different looks. In this case, he has a lapel grip and maybe a double lapel grip here, right? Very difficult to break, okay? Now, this grip break requires a little bit of wrist dexterity, but you can work on it. Okay, watch. My top arm, I'm going to walk it down to my shin, okay? Right in the front, right below my kneecap, I'm going to grab my own shin here, okay? My free arm, my arm that I have a limb advantage on, I'm going to have my palm go across my chest. And look how I'm just going to pause for a second. Look how I almost match elbow to elbow. Okay, I'm crossing my body. My arm is making X. And I want our palms to face away from each other. So again, I'm kind of showing you, I want our limbs to be kind of stacked. Okay? So from that stacked position here, I'm going to punch my elbow down. Now look, I'm going to try and lock my hands together. It doesn't take much. You could use your pinky hands to pointers. I've seen people do whole palm grips, which is fine too. I'll just do 2 fingers here, okay? I'm going to show you, I'm going to pull my hand up. I'm trying to get my thumb to my ear, right? That's a good way to think about it. I'm trying to stuff my elbow down. So look what happens to his forearm here. I start to turn and manipulate his forearm, okay? We're pausing here to show you. I'm pulling the end of his wrist with my forearm here, and my elbow is pushing his elbow out too. So I'm really putting this limb and jeopardizing the strength. Okay? One more time, he locks up. My hand comes in. I connect my fingers. Look how I turn his forearm here. As soon as I see and feel that break, look how I rip my arm back. You could go to high collar here. My free hand grabs the thumb, right? So we know what direction the thumb is. I slap my knees together. I lean back. We get the tap.
When I'm working against arm bars, I like to create limb advantage, just like how my brother's talking about. I create limb advantage by going palm down on my body side leg. And what I like to do is I like to start creating pressure either on their head or on their body using gatame. So the first break I'm going to show you is on the head. I like to use the back of my hamstring to turn his head in the opposite direction and sit down on his face. Okay? A lot of times, this pressure alone is enough for me to start separating the arm and coming back, sliding to my arm bar. But if he's a super tough guy, he's going to be able to eat this. Okay? So if he's here taking this pressure and I don't want to start seesawing it to break, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to transfer my pressure from this side to this side. How I do that is I take my hand, come to the top of his leg, pulls my hand on something on the pants. I'm going to pull his legs towards me. Once his legs are towards me, my hand's going to shoot out. I'm going to grab on his hip. At this point, my leg can come off his face. I make a little post. I roll up onto gatame. Now the pressure has shifted to my far side leg or my body side leg. From here, I push my knees together and I curl my hamstrings towards myself. I can even step over his face. Make a lot of pressure on the arm and body in order to get it straight. I can finish here and maintain my pin, or I can slowly drop to the side of the body, maintaining my curl, and drop back with a straight arm. So here's a quick little judo arm break that I learned from Sensei Mike Swain at San Jose State. This is kind of a speedy break. So it's not a lot of steps. It's something that you can do really quickly if you only have 5 to 10 seconds to break an arm. So what I want to do is I want to really try to set up a limb advantage position, like how my brother talked about. And I want to bring my elbow and point it towards his body. My palm is going to face up, so my arm is going to be trying to be vertical here, okay? I'm going to reach back with my top arm this way. I'm going to punch across and catch my own bicep. When I go to punch across, I'm going to try to put my fist and my shoulder to the mat on the head side. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Okay? That arm becomes long and straight at that point. What I want to do to finish it is I want to roll back to the side there. You see, I'm rolling back to the side to finish it. I maintain my hamstring curl, and I keep my knees together the entire time, never letting him rebend his arm once I've punched my shoulder to the floor.
Okay, so no matter what you're doing with your juji gatame, okay, once you get the grip broken and you're ready to finish, we want to make sure your fundamentals are sound, okay? So say I get this break, I get the reaction that I want, okay? From this position here, okay, look how I'm attacking the end of this lever, okay? If done properly, okay, and obviously we're just demonstrating, I should be able to armbar him just with 2 fingers at the end of the lever. We can see that the closer I look and move to his bicep, it's just not going to work. Okay, so just taking a second and thinking about where we want to apply the pressure at the very end of the lever will produce better results. Okay, so keep that in mind in the heat of the battle. Okay, so we get this far. I pop this off. I want to get as much as I can around the end of that lever as quick as I can. So that means I'm going to slide my arms up and almost do like a self-hug, right? That's fine, okay? We want to make sure that we're attacking the end of the lever, okay? Another thing that I do for my students, I challenge them to finish their arm bars before your upper back touches the mat, okay? What does that look like? Say I get this far, okay? If everything's done properly, if I finish, look how much space I have to still bottom out on the arm if I wanted to. If I wanted to, I could be able to drop all the way down, and you could see what that would do to his arm, okay? What I see a lot of is we do all this nice work, we get the break we want, and people immediately enter this position, okay? And obviously, I'm introducing space into it, but at this point, if he doesn't tap, where can I go, right? We have to start going across our hip, and that point, he's already starting to move out of the way. So long story short, I challenge all my students when they're finishing their arm bars, you want to keep your upper back off the mat, okay? That's going to be a good cue to see if everything else is sound, okay? Another fundamental finishing detail that we're going to incorporate, we have to use our lower body, okay? I see a lot of students in the beginning of their judo careers, they try and focus on just the arm, and you see people just pulling here, okay? And now you're just trying to use a strength contest. I'm going to try and pull this arm out with just my arms. It's not going to work for you, okay? We want to get a limb advantage, whether that be grabbing your collar or grabbing your leg, okay? I could use my limb advantage to do anything. We have to incorporate our lower body. So what does that look like? It could be climbing our legs up, okay? Now when I get the break, look how I still use my lower body. I'm doing a nice big hamstring curl. So I'm trying to get both my heels to go through my opponent into my butt. So I'm curling my hamstrings in, okay? Not only that, I'm trying to get my knees to touch each other. So you can see I'm engaging, everything from my hip down is engaged, even down to my toes and my feet, okay? If that's tight and sound, by the time I slide up to the end of the lever, my upper back will not touch the mat.
Anything about it. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to the YouTube page. I'm Mustache Lou, and this is
Andy Newaza.
And his eyes are super red because he's getting kicked in the face all this.